Hi everyone and welcome. So today we're just going to run through a few things in relation to form reading and how to get the best from it, from the software in relation to the race card. So what I want to do is show you this race here. This is a handicap on the all-weather at Wolverhampton. I've inputted some criteria into the software. It's given me these top two rated selections. First one you can see there's Small John plus 17. Second on the betting is Beautiful Lando at 11s. And bringing up the rear there, third rated is Satwar, which is on 9. Jointly on 9 with a couple of other horses as well. But what we're going to do, we're going to concentrate on the top two. And we'll check out the other one as well and see how we feel about that one. And I just want to show you how to work through the race card. Give you some pointers, give you some tips, give you something you can take away and work with as well. And hopefully after you've watched the video, you'll be able to put something together on your own, start picking out and making your own selections. And also kind of looking at the card and looking at racing in a slightly different way. Okay, so let's head over there now. Okay, so we'll just check out the racing portion now. Now, as you can see, the favourite is Sand Between Our Toes, which is 4-1. Small John sitting there at 11-2. Beautiful Lando 7-1. So from the FL screenshot, we're interested in Small John, Beautiful Lando, and Satwar. Okay, which is this one, and this one here. Now, obviously it's a handicap. Okay, so obviously this is a handicap. As I've said in other videos, they're actually hard races to predict. However, with the software, all I've done is just inputted some criteria to give me those selections. Now, for you to do it manually and to look at the card, if you just quickly look at this card and you see all the horses' names, and then you can see all the D's for distance, course and distance, beaten favourite, course and distance, course and distance. Lots of these horses you'll find before you even look at it have either won or placed on this ground, at the course, at this distance. So for one reason or another, they are competitive, or they have been competitive from time to time. Your job now is to look at the betting forecast here, read between the lines, and see if the top 2-3 horses in the betting are going to be worth any interest for you to then go and bet on them. Okay, now obviously lots of different ways you can do this. You could actually go through every single runner here. What I would do, like I've said before, is concentrate on the top 2, 3 or 4 in the betting. Now if we have a look at the first one, which is Sand Between Our Toes, you can actually see straight away there's no course and distance or anything there. Now if you just bring up the horse's details, I'll just drag this across so you can see it. The first thing which should hit you is the number of runs a horse has had. Okay, so it's only had 6 starts. If you look at all weather, well, basically the first thing you should do as well actually is check out where the race is, what type of surface it's being run on. So Wolverhampton, all weather, standard, 7 furlong. Okay, now quickly jump down to the horse's last race. You can see it was here. It was at Wolves, same distance. The horse actually came second. So that's a positive straight away. Last time out, it ran in very similar conditions. It was beaten. So what you can then do is, if you click on the horse's name here, now if you're looking at any horse and you go down here to, you click on the horse's name, look at the race analysis. If it finished usually within the places, then a little bit further down here you'll have a little bit of information about that horse. We can see here Sand Between Our Toes, showing his best form on the poly track. No surprise that he bounced back from a disappointing previous effort on fast ground at Newbury. First time cheek pieces and back up and trip. He made the winner work hard, and although this was a fine effort, he's likely to continue to prove vulnerable to less exposed rivals in these types of races. Okay, so you've got some positives and negatives there. The problem we have here with this race is there's not much to actually go on for this particular horse. I always like to look at horses with at least 8 runs minimum. Then you can build up a little bit more idea of what they have done. Has the trainer moved them from track to track, up or down in trip? Has it run in a higher class? Has it shown it can perform in that higher class? Has it struggled in that class? Is it now in a race where it's proved that it can do something? Sand between our toes, we know it's ran here, we know it's came second, so it's positives. Lifetime runs is negative really, because it's only had 6 races. If we go back, actually if we go to the stats, so Wolverhampton, 1 start, 1 second place. Distance, 2 starts, it came third. And we got Standard, 3 starts, it's had a place in a third, 2/3 as well. Okay, so that seems quite positive. The class is class 5, it's had 4 starts, it hasn't won a class 5. Okay, and if you look here, it hasn't won any race, so that's obviously a negative. Now I know by the software that I've already checked that the horse had the same jockey last time out. I consider that to be a positive. Days since last run was 11, so the horse is fit enough. When we had a look at the race analysis, we could see that the horse was predicted to be vulnerable. Okay, so the horse had obviously been running on a few different tracks, Lingfield, Kempton, and then back down to Wolves. Newbury was a strange one because it was obviously on a different surface, which was turf. So what does this all mean? Right, well basically, the horse is sitting here as favourite. Now from what I can see, it hasn't won at the course, it hasn't won at the distance, it hasn't won at the class. Yes, it has placed. Now the reason why I would be slightly wary about this horse is because it's only had 6 runs in total and it's still yet to win. Okay, so I can see a few positives for this horse, but the main factors which I focus on, especially when looking at the all-weather as well, is can the horse win on the surface? Now, it hasn't done that. The course, it hasn't done it. The distance, it hasn't done it. The class, it hasn't done it. So you've got to keep asking yourself these questions when you're building up this picture. Okay, now if we go to Small John, if we have a quick look at him, find him there. Course and distance straight away, so nice to see, positive. We'll bring up his details. Now I know by the software that he was top rated. He's won at the course, he's won at the distance, he's won at the class, obviously on the surface. Plenty form here to go on, so you can have a good look back through all of this, check his stats, really look at the horse and say, right, Wolverhampton, 18 starts, 6 wins, 3 second places and a third, so straight away this horse is competitive. That is quite a good winning ratio there. The distance, what we're looking at, 7 furlongs. Well, he's won at the distance and he's came second, and he's actually had 6/3 at the distance. If we look at his form, his last race was here and he won. Now let's just have a little bit of a closer look at what actually happened in this race. Well, we know he won it. Okay, so have a look at this analysis here. His rider was up a pound overweight. Well, that's nothing. Gamely ended his long losing run and relished the return to the venue. He was taken on up front and did plenty early on, but proved very brave in keeping his pursuers at bay in the home straight. This was a 6th success over course and distance, over a 3 pound lower mark. Okay, so everything there suggests the horse knows how to win. It's in a handicap again. So you're looking at horses to actually repeat what they did last time out, really. And if we have a look down here, he's the only one who won last time out. He ticks all the other boxes, so he's also second in the betting. So again, all he's trying to do is build up that picture. Just go through the horse's stats, have a good look, make sure you're happy with everything there. What I would suggest is you actually concentrate on 1 race a day and start building up from there, really. With races like this, there's plenty of horses to actually look at. So if you can get it right most of the time, you'll certainly be doing well. If we just scroll down, have a look at class. Well, he's had 4 wins and a second and some thirds there as well. If we look at the next one, this horse here, and last time out at Kempton, second place. That was in a Class 6. Just have a quick look here at all weather. 13 starts, 2 wins, a second and 4 thirds. Plenty form to go on. Similar story really. If we have a look on the stats. Wolverhampton, 1 at the course, 1 at the distance, 1 on the ground, and has 1 on the class. So straight away this horse has done a hell of a lot better than the favourite in this race. Okay, now the third one on the software was actually this horse here, which is a 14-1. So certainly a lot further down the betting than I would usually look at. Now it is quite a tight race, this one as well, although Small John was streets ahead of everybody else with plus 17 on the software. The next horse to him was obviously this one here. That was on plus 11. Now, if we just have a quick look at this horse, we can see last time out, obviously didn't do too well. 12th, 7th, second here at Wolves on the same ground. So it's this part of the recent form which you are more interested in. Obviously, the more races they've run at, you can then go further back and analyse, you know, how many races has the horse running which are similar today. Now this second place here was in May, and then if you look 4 days later, the horse turned up again. Now this is on firm ground, okay. So obviously the trainer thought the horse was fit enough to be able to handle it. The ground was obviously wrong. It then was switched back to Kempton, and that was a poor performance. Let's have another look here at the stats. So Wolverhampton, it's never actually won here, but it has placed and came third. And if we have a look at the trip, yeah, it's won at the trip. Standard, it's done that as well. So again, although recent form's a little bit more mixed on this one, it has still performed better than this horse here. I think if you go through a few more of these, you'll find out that most of these have either won at the distance, you can see here. Okay, the ones which have obviously won at the course, Striker Torres, this one here, Hawkmouth. If you look at recent form, it's obviously a third here. But like I've said earlier, I'm looking at the horses at the front of the betting. Now, this one's here for whatever reason. Somebody thinks it's going to perform quite well. I tend to disagree. Obviously, I have the advantage of the software to make my life a lot easier when I'm looking at races like this. Again, it is a handicap, so there can be a little bit of a minefield. However, if you break the race down in this manner, you can see for yourself that you're building up a picture. Okay? If we just check this one out again, I just want to see on the last race analysis what actually happened. Straight away there was a false start. Beautiful Lando. May have well thrown this away, although he was blinkered and perhaps he just didn't see the rallying winner. He has won in headgear from the front and also in a visor. Okay, so it sounded like he had it in the bag, and if we just have a look at the result, he was just beaten by half a length. So, although he seemed to have made a mistake, it's still very positive for this horse. And he's obviously blinkered here again today. So, to me, the horses at the front of the betting are these two here. This one here, because it's third on the software, I'm going to use this as cover really. So we'll head over to Betfair, we'll see how they get on. I will obviously be placing bets on these races. All I really wanted to do in this particular video was just to show you a little bit more in detail. It is about making your own ratings, and the most important thing with any race selection process is to do two things really. One is to be statistical enough to actually have a set of rules and criteria which you will follow and stick to on a daily basis. The basics, I call them really, because they are fundamental when you're looking at course, distance, ground, race type, horses' preferences. and you're looking for patterns within those. Okay, mark them down whenever they do stand out. When you're not sure about them, or you start seeing more negatives coming up when you're looking at the race card or you're looking at the horse in more detail, then it doesn't take a genius to work out that something's not right. The next thing what you really need to be able to do, and you can do with experience, it doesn't just happen overnight, but the more you actually look at horses, look at the card, break it down, and then follow up with it later. Check out the result, read what happened, or watch the race. You know, reading between the lines of any race card will help you still build up that mental picture. Okay, so it is a skill. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, you know, this is how easy it is. Just pull up the card, let's have a look at the handicap. Right, these are the two horses. It can be done. This doesn't just happen in the time I make this video. Okay, so all the background effort and everything which has gone into the software finding these selections for me, obviously that takes a lot of pressure off me coming to this card and doing it manually. Now, obviously the benefit of me having the software is that I can just do that, but that's not how I got started. Every single day I was looking at the racing post, I was going through the race card, I was trying to find and spot anything to do with any of those horses which I could see a weakness on some and a positive on others, looking for something which had been missed by either the general public or the bookies who put this together. Okay, now if you have a look at selections, you can see here, look at all the different names. 7 different horses here, which tells you probably quite a bit about the race. Small John's sitting here with 5 picks. So that's another positive as well. If we check our post data, look which horse is sitting there. Satwa. Okay. This is a great guide actually. And the good thing about this is it can help to point you in the right direction. Okay, so Striker Torres was another horse which was there, course and distance. Trainer form's not the best. Same as this horse actually. Flying Picket, I'm pretty sure that's another course and distance. He's a distance winner. Okay, trainer not the best. And then just have a look here. Going. A couple of horses don't like it. Most of them are run on this ground. Course. This one's had 2. Fleetwood Sands. Small John's got 2 as well. Hawkmouth. Go back through. Look at this horse. Is there any positives and negatives for this horse? Check out the ability. Striker Torres is on 3. Satwa is on 3. Fleetwood Sands, Flying Picket. You can see how tight the race is. However, these horses on at the front of the market. Recent form. There's beautiful there. Recent form 2 ticks. Small John 2 ticks. Satwa 2 ticks. Okay, so like I say, it isn't just going to stand out. Sometimes it does, don't get us wrong, but the amount of time and effort you put into the race card will help you long term. Okay, so you won't get it right all the time. I certainly don't. Nobody does. Anybody who does tell you that they get it right all the time is telling lies. It's as simple as that. Okay, now I had a race the other day which I'll show you in another video. I honestly thought the race was more or less in the bag and the last horse on the betting won it. It happens all the time. You have to take those losing bets the same way as you take your winning bets. And one of the reasons why I picked this particular race is because it is quite tight. Now, I could probably go through the rest of these here. The problem what you do have is, if you start looking at too many of these horses at the back end of the betting, you may either start to confuse yourself with what you have right in front of you, or you won't know which ones to bet on. So, for the purpose of this, from a statistical point of view, we do know that most of the winners come from the top 4 in the betting market. Okay, by using the betting forecast, that gives us an idea of where we should be looking. Like I've said in other videos, you can double check where these horses are in relation to Betfair prices. See how much support's for the horses, but make up your own mind. Don't be swayed by anybody else. Have a look at the facts which are right in front of you here on the race card. Have a selection process which you can break down with important factors which you decide are most important. I can't really hammer home the basics enough to you, really. Fitness is important, okay, but it's not the end of the world if a horse seems to be not fit. Anything up to 100 days is fine. I do prefer them if, you know, they've ran somewhere between the 30-day mark. All weather horses can come back really quick. Lots of you should know this by now. Within 7 days, horses can easily follow up. Sometimes you will see them running the next day. Has the horse done this before? If you're looking at anything mainly, check out the ground, check out flat form. Any horse which is on the all weather, have they actually performed on the all weather before? If not, and you're just looking at the turf form, then you may have a big problem. Course is important. I don't want to get down the old cliche route, but certain horses do prefer certain courses. It's simple as that. Now, distance is obviously important. Has the horse shown that it can run at this particular distance? This is a sprint. If you're looking at 5 furlong, they're obviously specialist type of races, really. Horse has to be out of the blocks really, really fast for these types of races. Class is another important factor as well. Take everything I've said now on board, go away, look at how you actually select horses, think about a rating system. What would you like to include within that system? Okay, so I didn't actually record the race for you this time, but as you can see, this is the result. Small John actually won the race. You can see second and third. I think both these horses were coursing distance, certainly distance. And this was the actual favourite on the Racing Post. Came in fourth. If we scroll down a little bit further, one of the other horses which I had picked out, or rather was third rated on the FL software, came in here at fifth. And the other one, which was my second selection really, came in at ninth. Now, the main thing about this is that we still picked out the winner. Okay, so I don't think anybody's going to complain or moan. Some people might, but if you're looking at 2 or 3 horses and you think, well, definitely one of those is going to win, and it does, then it's job done. It doesn't really matter where the other 2 came. You have to base the races on the horses you selected and how they performed on that particular day. Okay, so there'll be plenty of the times when you actually get first, second, sometimes even third. But within that small group which you do select, as long as the horse is winning, then your selection process is obviously working. You've done something right. You know, even if the horse comes second, you're there or thereabouts. Might have just had a slightly bad run, or was beaten by a better horse on the day, simple as that. As long as you're doing the basics and you're putting in the effort, you're breaking everything down into a system where you can understand it, you can follow it simply. You will pick up winners by doing what I've showed you in the video and in some of the other videos as well. So stick with it. I hope you've managed to take something away from this video, even if it's just a small part, something which you can add to your own betting and to your own selection process. Okay, so I'll just show you that the bet was actually placed since you didn't get to see the Betfair screen. And this is just for today. I'll just go to last 3 hours. Okay, so there you go, you can see the race there. Wolverhampton, 7th furlong. And profit and loss there, 26 quid, 62 pence. I'll just show you how that was broken down. I'll move that along a little bit. Okay, so first selection there. Beautiful Lando, Satwa, Small John. You can see the odds down here. All decent prices. These were the top 3 within the FL software. And then that was second on the betting and third, if I remember correctly. You can see here the stakes. This was just Dutched. And again, all I'm trying to do in these particular videos is to show you that you don't have to risk a lot of your bank. You can still bet with a small bank. Bet whatever you're comfortable with doing. I would say, if possible, even do less than that. Do half again. So if you've got a betting bank of, let's say, £300, £500, whatever, and you were going to be using 5% as a stake, chop that down again and just use a little bit less, and then it'll give you a little bit more confidence, especially when you do hit some kind of losing run, which you will do. Everybody does. But consistency is the key. And as you can see here, this race, obviously we know it's a handicap. But from it, because I dutched these selections, you can see I didn't actually spend much money at all. And for the stakes which are here, due to the odds, obviously, you've got Betfair minimum stake anyway. But the return on this is really good. So if you could get something like this every day, you're laughing really, for very, very minimum output, you know. So don't try to get too bogged down with the races. Yes, if you can build up to 3 or 4 races a day and look at those, that's fine. If that works for you, that's great. Otherwise, you know, just check out 1 race a day and just go from there. There's plenty of racing every single day, evening, weekends. I do try to avoid weekends, I must admit. And I've said that reason before, is racing on a weekend is a lot more competitive. There's more prize money available and there's horses doing a lot more to win. Okay, so like I said, I just want to show you that. So hopefully next time you're looking at the card, you can put some of the tips I've shown you into practice, do a similar kind of thing. Usually there'll just be a couple of horses here, but I did actually want to put that one on because it's 3rd rated on the FL software as well. Okay, so I'm sure you can all agree, if for this output you could make 26 quid every single day from one race, you'd be happy. There's certainly no bank or building society would give you a return on your investment like that. Okay, that's everything for now, and I'll talk soon. Bye.